This is the plaintiff, Jason Hittner. He says the defendant was his friend for years and he's mortified he has to sue her. But hey, money is money. She owes him for rent, for money he gave her so she could move, and for paint. He hates suing a friend, but he has to eat too and is suing for the $1,923.59 he's owed. This is the defendant, Carol Rosell. She says she rented from the plaintiff, and when he decided to put the house on the market for sale, he wanted her to put all her stuff in a storage pod so he could show the house. He got the storage pod to benefit himself, and now he expects her to pay for it? Come on, man. They were very good friends, but no more. She's accused of unfriending a friend.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant, who's been a friend for many years, owes him rent, and there is a limit to friendship. But the defendant says the plaintiff made living there impossible. It's the case of renter's remorse.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Dr. Jason Hittner.
Good morning, Judge.
You are suing Carol Rosell.
Correct.
For $1,923.59. The balance of rent you say she owes you, a loan that she didn't repay, utilities that came after she left, utility bills that came after she left, and paint that you are forced to buy now to restore it to the original condition. Tell me what's going on. You two were friends.
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
Several years.
Okay. Were you ever romantic?
No.
Okay. So what happened?
So I purchased the house next door to me, to the house that I live in, and I was planning on renting it out to Carol. We signed a lease agreement, and she lived there for, I think, a little bit over a year.
May I see the lease?
Yeah.
Okay, so go on.
So the rent was $1,850 a month.
Right.
And for October, November, December of 2011, she was unable to make the rent, and she called her uncle, and she told her uncle the rent was $1,500 a month. So he wrote me a check for, he gave me cash actually for the $4,500 that was due, and it left the balance of $1,050.
Okay. Now this is from what months? October, November, December of 2011.
That's right.
Okay. Now the other thing you're suing for is a loan for moving expenses. Tell me about that.
The way that everything had worked out, I had planned on selling the two houses, and I was going to get a storage unit for my house so I could move out and prepare to sell the house. And I told Carol my plans, and she said that she would move her things into the pod, and then the pod actually gets moved to your next residence so you can unpack it there.
Okay.
And she gave me her credit card number, and she gave me her credit card and said that I could put her pod on the credit card.
Okay.
And I put the pod on hers, and I put mine on mine, and hers was denied.
Okay.
So then I just put it on mine, and she said she would pay me back.
And that was what, 679? 629.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. And then the utilities are a bill that came in after she left soap, because that's how it works. Hand that over. And then the paint. Tell me about the paint. She painted one of the rooms shocking pink, or as my mother would say, choking pink.
When Carol first moved in, her daughter Emma is a college student, and she wanted this two-bedroom house because she wanted a room for Emma. And she said when Emma comes home, is it okay if she paints Emma's room pink? And I said, Carol, it's your house. Just please return it to the white walls that were there when you took possession of the house. And she said okay. When I went into the house after she vacated it, she actually put like these inspirational sayings, like the decals, on all of the walls.
Do you have pictures?
I do, actually.
Let me see.
I have them on my cell phone.
Okay, hand me your cell phone.
And when I removed these from each of the rooms, it destroyed the paint, and each room actually had to be repainted. Here it is. And if she scrolls this way, she'll see.
Let me hear from you. What's going on?
Okay. In January of 2011, I lent Jason and his wife, my girlfriend at the time, $500 in January because they needed some money, and also in February because they needed some money.
Hold on one second. You loaned your landlord $1,000?
He was my friend. I lent my friend, yes.
$1,000.
I would lend any friend money if they needed to.
I thought we're going to have an apoplectic seizure just now. Did she loan you $1,000?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you have any proof, like through texts, emails, anything?
No.
We're sworn here, which is.
Yeah, that's how, welcome to my world, my friend.
Yeah, okay.
That's how it works. Every day, every case, that's how it works. One person says one thing, one says another.
So I'm just gonna say,
and I'm never shocked.
Okay.
I just got to figure out which of the two of you is violating your oath.
No problem. Go ahead. So this house that I rented to Carol actually has 2 units. It has Carol's unit, and it also has a 1-bedroom that's attached to it that I was in the process of trying to rent out at the time. Carol had a lot of belongings, and she put those belongings into the adjoining apartment. And that's when she came next door and she said, here, I'm using the next door apartment. Here's $500 for this month. And then she came back the next month and said, here's $500 for allowing me to put storage into that second unit.
Had you given her prior permission to put stuff in the unit?
No.
Had you discussed whether or not how much she would pay? Did he give you prior permission to put your stuff in the other unit?
Yes.
Oh, and then was that free?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I didn't pay before and I didn't pay after, and I have a text.
And the 500 wasn't for storing the stuff there?
No.
No? Okay. Let me ask you, when it's time to move out, are you supposed to paint it back to the color that it was?
There was no, okay, under my understanding, the last month, wouldn't he inspect the premises? It's not my responsibility to paint before the next tenant moves in.
No, just for sport, it isn't your responsibility. But if you painted something, don't you think it stands to reason that you're...
I painted the entire house.
Don't you think that if you paint something pink, that it stands to reason that you will restore it to white when you leave? Does your lease actually say that? Because your lease should say that if it does.
It does.
Where is it?
It's
same condition. And in fact, your lease says that same condition as it was in when you got it. That would mean that you have to restore it to white.
Well, okay.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the last item, which is you don't have an issue with the electric, do you? The electric bill?
For March electric?
Yeah. Can I see the electric? Yeah,
no,
here it is.
I don't. Actually,
you don't have an issue with that?
No.
All right. And what about the pod? Did you ever give him your credit card in order to use the pod?
The day? Okay. Jason came into the house and he said, we have to do something. We have to get everything out. Everything has to go out. We are getting pods and you're going to load all of your stuff into it. And I said, and as a matter of fact, he was so inflamed about it that I said, well, where am I going to sleep? Because he was insinuating everything had to go into this pod. He said,
did you give him your credit? I have a simple question. Did you give the man your credit card in order to rent the pod?
He said, can I have your credit card? And I said, no, it won't work.
So you never gave him a credit card? How did he have your number and how did he know it was declined?
I have a credit card, but I can't. I had no money.
No, but how does he get your number if you don't give it to him? What did he do? Rifle through your pockets and check it out?
No, he got my credit card.
How did he get it?
I gave it to him, but I
So why are you saying that if you gave him your credit card, that's sort of evidence to me that you're supposed to pay for the pot? How is it I'm supposed to say that you're not, that this was, I'm sorry, I'm talking. Did I breathe and give you the impression I was done speaking?
So would you sue your best friend if your best friend owed you $2,000?
No, absolutely not. My friend.
$3,000?
No.
$5,000?
Maybe.
$2,000?
No, I would not. I would cut my losses and find you a friend.
$10,000?
Maybe.
I love this. $2,000?
I would sue him. Yes, I would.
There you go. Going inside the courtroom.
If you give a man your credit card for him to pay, for you to pay for something, and it gets declined, then why is it that I shouldn't believe him when he says she was supposed to pay for it?
Right.
How did it get to this? You guys were friends for how long?
3 or 4 years.
And if you know that you owe him, because you're not contesting that you owe him the utilities.
No.
You gave him a credit card, so I don't see how you can in good conscience contest the moving expenses. Mm-hmm. Why would you not pay that at least and then fight the rest? Are you just dead broke right now?
No, because I was under the impression that when I got this bill, that if I gave any monies regarding this bill, that then I would be liable for the whole bill.
Let me see that.
And I did not want to separate it was not separate.
How long did you wait before filing? Just curious.
I waited too long.
How long?
I waited probably August, July, or
That's not too long.
August.
All right. Ms. Russell, I don't think that you have a leg to stand on based on what I've heard here today. You cannot prove that you loaned him money. You agree that you used the apartment next door for a time.
Well, I was allowed.
You gave him a credit card in order to pay for a pod that you say you never agreed to pay for. That's a little odd. You know you painted the room, and your lease says that you're supposed to restore it to the original condition, but you didn't. Hand me that phone back. I never got to see the inspirational sayings.
You can't
I need to be
read them?
inspired. I got to take inspiration from wherever I can get it. And the utilities you've conceded. So I just don't see how it is that you can fight this or fight it successfully.
That's what I do.
Okay.
And it's sort of sad that it gets to this instead of you just maybe working out a payment plan or something like that. I love this saying. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Who said that? Besides your wall. Do you know who's it's actually attributed
it's
to?
actually on the bottom.
Who said it? I'll just look it up. All right. All right. I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the, hey, doctor, why don't you get a new iPhone? Since this one's put together with chewing gum and spit like my kids who keep dropping it. Why don't you put a cover on it and then it won't break? All right. I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,923.59. Use some of it for a new phone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, step right on in here. Come on in next to me here and tell me what your feeling is on the outcome where he gets every penny he sued you for.
Well, it is what it is, and I just have to be careful when I deal with friends in the future.
What happened to the friendship? What happened?
It dissolved.
At what point? When did you know this friendship was going down the tubes?
When he actually stated to me, I would rather, well, I don't want to go into that. Sorry, thank you.
All right. Got any inspirational sayings by any chance before you go?
It is what it is.
There you go. All right. Okay. There you go.
this way,
Right down
ma'am.
this way, sir.
Thank you.
Just head right down there. All right. Come on in here. You satisfied how this thing comes out? How did this whole thing go down the tubes?
It's sad. I think it just started because a contract was signed for an amount that she wasn't going to be able to pay, and it just went downhill from there.
Really?
Yeah.
She was friends with you before you met who's the person now your wife?
My wife?
Right?
Yeah, it was all about the same time, yeah.
About
Yeah,
the same time?
No, I guess we were friends a little longer.
Was that ever a problem for her?
Who?
Harvey?
Okay, here's the deal. Even if somebody owes you money and they're supposed to pay you by a certain date and they don't, try and work out a payment schedule with them. If you can work out a deal where you eventually get paid, even if it's not on the time schedule you expected, at least you get your money. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.